Hi, so this is my final level design project. Um, so for this, instead of choosing a game, I decided to make my own kind of intro level to like an RPG or whatnot, where you start off and you kind of make your way to the intro town to kind of find out the world. I wanted to do this because I wanted to do a little more like environmental design, like through the woods here, and like city design. All the assets I'm using either I made or people I know made. Except for these walls, these are just primitives from uh, Unity. So I'm just going to do like a overview like this because, to walk through, like I can't really point out all the details, but so you start off here on the beach, quote unquote. Over here, these blocks that are sticking out of the ground, this is going to be later your boat that has crashed and you've washed ashore. So you're going to be starting off by looking out onto the ocean, and believe it or not, this plane makes it look like there's a huge, huge ocean in front of you, which is a really nice illusion because, like if you do this, it looks a lot bigger than it actually is. I'll hope to put like actual like water, like more water looking texture onto this, but for now this works. So yeah, you have like the rocky cliffs to kind of keep you in this small contained area, and there aren't as many trees as I want to put out yet. I'm still like working my way through making the forest. But if I put too many trees, because these have, they're fairly low poly, but they still have enough poly so that when you put like 100 of them in, it really slows down the game. So yeah, in this woods I have four different types of trees, so like little hills. I got little ferns, little shrubs, rocks, logs to kind of vary up the path. So I mean, you can still walk over the edges, which I'm working on not permitting by adding more trees along the edge that you can't go through, or making the hill here higher. But for right now, this is what I have for the forest. You walk through. You have like your major. You can go over here and just go straight down into the city. You go over here and wraps around to the major part, or you have another one that wraps around even more to get you here. So you kind of you start off at the beach, and where you are, because of the trees, you can sort of see the walls, but not really. Hope I need to add more trees, but that's not really the main focus. You can sort of see it, so you're kind of drawn into this direction towards the city. So yeah, you walk through the forest, and you go into like these are two guard towers right here. Oh god. Yeah, so you have two guard towers or guard posts. There are two at every gate. There's two over here, and there's two in front of like the noble place. Yeah, so you start off and you enter, and over here are the slums. So it's slums, lower class of the society. So they're kind of, the houses are smaller. They're all bunched up. Each side has only one bathhouse, which you will notice these bathhouses of their buildings, but I'll switch those out later. So yeah, you have all these houses close together. I have some environmental props that I'll add. I have trash and whatnot to make it more lived in. So yeah, so we have this. So the player has a lot of areas to explore. Ideally, they would be like people like walking around here, like sitting and or standing in front of their house, like talking to their neighbors, or like dealing with day to day stuff. Down the path, you have like some shops and whatnot. Again, they're the same buildings, but Then you have like two like pub inns here right in town center. I have a big kind of like tree in the middle to kind of be like a center point. Go put market stalls around here, like boxes, pots, sacks, to just make it more like this is a busy area with a lot of people. Have piles of garbage around. Not a lot of them, because it wouldn't, since this is a more populated area of like wealthier people, it would be cleaned up more. But still, people are slobs, so there will be stuff around. Over here, it will be the stable. So you have like inner bit, and then I'm going to see if I can find some animal models to put around here. Then you have the guards training posts. Ideally there'd be like, guards like walking around, learning, training, fighting, not to be put on guard. And then over here is the middle class, so they have a lot more, there's a lot less of them, but they have a lot more room to move around, which, if you're doing well for yourself, you can afford to have the land around you. I know currently I have these walls closed off, but these would be, once I actually get real walls in, kind of have gates. So they're closed. Like the front gate would be open to bring in new people, like, oh, maybe a new group just came in, and then they still haven't closed it. And then at the very end is the noble house that the guards, and like I'll have a different wall, like an actual wall here, like waist high wall to kind of cut off the noble house from the rest of the city, because they are noble. They're the noble. They're the ones that kind of control this area. So yeah, this is what I have so far. I'm planning on adding a lot more props just to make this feel lived in. Currently, it's just a lot of buildings in this area, but adding text, like painting textures to the ground to make like actually have very defined pathways, and then like little pathways through here, or this like here's a distinct pathway, and then here is just like where people have constantly walked, so the ground is worn down a little more. But yeah, I'm going to plan next is going to be just making this area feel lived in, which is like the huge part of like what I was going for. And then for the forest, adding more trees to make it feel fuller. Like, oh, right now it just seems like, oh, here are just a whole bunch of trees just right here in the middle. But I want to make it feel like, oh, there's like a huge forest just around this building or around these walls. Like, make it feel massive with like these like little mountain, like stone mountains here. And I also have it that you can't go into the water that deep, because somewhere, if I can find it, I don't know where it is, but there is an invisible wall. So you can go into it a little bit, but you can't go too deep into it, just to prevent you from, falling or getting stuck. So I have an invisible wall that, like, oh, the water's too deep, so you can't really swim. So yeah, this is what I have so far for my own, like, kind of walking sim, like, kind of intro area to a game. I want to, no way, shape, or form is it like the intro to BioShock Infinite, but, like, I wanted to do something where you start off in a very, like, you start off in one area with one tone, and then you have a transition to a completely different tone. So yeah, this is my walking sim. I want the light to be like, not super bright. Like, I want it to be kind of dusk, like this twilight, like just turning dark, so you have a nice purpley sky, which I have a skybox for. If I find my camera down here, you can see that. Oh, I have a like that's what I want to want it to look like, but I'm having some issues with the skybox, so I need to go and fix that. So yeah, next is just making this feel like an actual city and not just like I just haphazardly just threw down houses. Cause like I think it looks, let's move that over a little bit. I think it looks okay, but there's definitely more ways to make it actually feel like a lived-in city and not just a like, oh, here's a town. Yep, that's a town. Make it actually feel like, oh, I am someplace that has a culture, that has, like, people living their lives, not just a, oh, here I am, another adventurer coming through. So yeah, that's my level. Thank you.